In today's Leeds news, Archie to Spurs, Kamara exit talks, LUSC German tour statement, new kit leaked, and Joe Rodon to Leeds. Morning folks, Jay here on Monday morning the 1st of July. The new season kicks off today. We are 1 month away from the start of the season and players are due to return to pre-season training today or tomorrow or early part of this week. We'll likely see them moving in and out of Leeds Beckett, getting their measurements taken at the start of the pre-season tour. It's been a hell of a weekend. An awful lot of stuff has gone on. There's been a huge amount of news and it's ever changing today as we step into what is a new PSR time frame, but also to remind people that the reason the Archie Gray deal is going through today and not last night is once an agreement, a deal has been commenced and there is a serious attempt from the clubs to get a deal done for PSR, they will make allowances for that deal to go over slightly, similar to what they do on transfer deadline day when you've got the deal sheets, and as long as that's been filled in, there's an overrun allowed. So that's what's going on there. But we'll start off today and we'll get into the Archie Gray situation. And as I said, it's been a hell of a weekend. On Saturday it looked like Archie Gray was heading to Brentford for a deal in the region of £41 million, but it's said that the player and Leeds both rejected the deal. Leeds are said to not be happy with the structure of the deal from a Brentford perspective, and Archie Gray himself was said to not be happy with the move and was against moving to play for Brentford. Then it was Spurs' turn late Saturday evening as we came into Sunday, and as of right now Spurs look like they will confirm the deal today for Archie Gray in a deal that is rumoured to be £40 million. This morning, Sky Sports reporter Lyle Thomas said that Tottenham were expecting to close the sale of Archie Gray today. The first part of his medical took place last night. The second part of his medical was due to take place this morning, and personal terms were deemed to not be a problem in getting the deal done. As I said, the deal is rumoured to be about £40 million. There were conflicting reports again over the last couple of days around whether there was any other player swaps involved in that or whether it was just a pure cash deal, and we've got some more news on that in a second. The player himself is said to be in favour of the move and sees Spurs as a potential stepping stone to play for bigger European clubs, Real Madrid being a kind of club that has been mentioned, and as has been said on other shows and Just Joe's show, Harry Kane's done it, Gareth Bale's done it, other players have done it, Luka Modric. So that's what he will be looking at from his perspective. From a personal perspective, it's not great PR from the Red Bull and 49ers and all the other investors involved with Leeds United point of view. The way it's been handled, the way the information's got out, yes, they keep everything quiet, and I suppose that goes both ways. If we're happy to see Leeds doing their business in silence, bringing players in, I suppose we have to accept the fact that Leeds will also do their business in private when players are leaving the club. From a financial perspective, this is the reality of remaining in the Championship. If Leeds had gotten to the Premier Division, this wouldn't be a situation we would be discussing, but Leeds didn't get to the Premier League, and as of right now, Leeds are a Championship club, and as with all Championship clubs, the allowance for what you can lose from PSR perspective is significantly less, and you have to accept the fact that all of your players have a price tag if someone is willing to pay it, and it looks like Archie Gray will be the make way. It's not great from a fan perspective. I don't like it from a fan perspective, but football is not just about football anymore, unfortunately, and that's just the natural reality of football, and it's not a great position to be in, but that's the reality of the situation. So Leeds will have to sell, and knew they would have to sell over the course of this window. So if that stems a sale of Chris Somerville, if Somerville goes now as well, how's that money being allocated? What's going on? There's a lot more questions that I'm sure will come out, and I'll judge the situation with the 49ers at the end of this transfer window to see where we are then when all the information is in, rather than just make a statement about one deal right now, because there is some good news on the back of the bad news with Archie Gray. We'll get to that in a second. But before that, there is talk of another potential exit from Leeds United and another midfield exit, and according to L'Equipe in France, Ligue 1 side Rennes are readying themselves to make a move for Leeds United midfielder Glenn Kamara. L'Equipe say that the former Rangers player is on a short list of players that Rennes want to bring in this summer, having lost some players themselves over the last few weeks. A £5 million price tag is the fee that's been floated around, but Leeds would look to probably bring in slightly more than that as a selling club, and not in a position where they would need to sell Kamara at this point, and the money that's being mentioned isn't going to change much. If they did need to sell, $5 million would be quite low. Glenn Kamara himself was in and out of the side towards the back end of the season. A bout of COVID seemed to derail his momentum towards the back end of the season. He's a very tidy player. I do like Glenn Kamara. I know I made a comment last year saying he was an average footballer in the scale of football, but he had a fantastic season for Leeds last year, and Leeds just can't keep sending players away. Leeds are very much in sale mode right now before they ever look at being a club that bringing people in, and it looks like quite a large rebuild looks like it's on the cards right now. We've heard talks of Villa Melier potentially heading off to Marseille, Charlie Creswell heading off to Toulouse, Glenn Kamara possibly heading to Rennes, Archie Gray going to Spurs. There's a lot of exits. You add to that the fact that Jayden Anthony went back to Bournemouth, Joe Rodon went back to Spurs, Connor Roberts went back to Burnley. There's a lot of exits so far, and Leeds will have a lot of work to do in the next couple of weeks. Moving on to the Leeds United pre-season tour, and some information has come out from the Leeds United Supporters Club, who made a statement around information that came out over the course of the weekend. As we know, Leeds fans have been asked to not travel to Germany during this pre-season tour, and Leeds themselves have been told that the games will be played behind closed doors. The rationale and reasoning for this being given was that due to over-budgeting for policing for the Euros would mean that there would be time off and time in lieu needed, and they wouldn't have the police resources to deal with the amount of fans that are likely to come in. However, it now appears that's not necessarily the case across the entirety of Germany. The LUSC found out that Glasgow Rangers, Aston Villa and Coventry City will also be playing friendly games in Germany this pre-season and are not being forced to leave fans at home and will be allowed to have their fans in attendance. The Leeds United Supporters Club have made the following statement after discussions on the topic. Leeds United Supporters Club are confused and concerned that our pre-season games in Germany are being forced to be played behind closed doors and that fans have been asked to not travel. Attending pre-season overseas tours is one of the highlights of the season for many of our loyal fans and is a tradition that we'll sorely miss. To rub salt into the wounds, we have been made aware that Glasgow Rangers, Coventry City and Aston Villa will have pre-season games in Germany, and they will all have a good contingent of supporters in attendance. We would like to know why Leeds United supporters are being treated differently from fans of other clubs. After all, as we continue to be informed, football is for the fans. We will talk to German fan groups once we know the clubs that we are playing. Always Leeds, always loyal. It's an interesting situation to be in, that Leeds have been asked to not send supporters, but other clubs seem to be permitted to bring them. I'm sure more information on this will come out. We'll let you know what that is as and when it does. But moving on then to the next story that came out over the weekend, and the Leeds United home kit appears to have been leaked over the weekend. The 24-25 shirt sees a return to a standard Adidas template design, one that's been going around with some variations on it for bigger clubs, but this one for Leeds seems to be a generic white and blue template. There's a lot of blue on this shirt as well. There is a slight yellow trim on the inside of the blue lines on the collar, which is the only kind of differentiating factor. But it's a shame to see Leeds go from a moderately kind of bespoke, yes, there's the Adidas template, but there was a kind of a bespoke design put on it last season with the peacock feathers embossed in it and lovely blue and yellow trims with the three Adidas stripes being alternated between blue and yellow, which was lovely last year. And it's a shame to see them go back to a stock template now for next season. The Red Bull sponsorship on the shirt, they've gone for red. There was other options, but they've gone for red this time around. It's not the most offensive shirt for me. It's fine. It's fine. I know there's a lot of people that won't want to talk about this shirt because the colour red is included on it. That's personal preference and fair enough. But it's fine. There's nothing exciting about this. It's a kind of a shirt I suppose I'd be happy to wait until it drops in price rather than paying €90 for a shirt. That's, if you go to JD Sports or Sports Direct, you can actually buy the white and blue template palette shirt without the Leeds badge and the sponsor on it. So, you know, if you want to save yourself 70 quid, you can do it that way. But it's it's a shame to see it go back to that. There's more excitement expected around the away kit. A yellow away kit has been rumoured. There's also been talk of a potential return of the smiley badge on the yellow kit as well. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But yeah, average. I suppose it's just a meh. Fine. It's fine as a kit. And then moving on to the second big story of the day, and one that is included in the Archie Gray story, and that relates to Joe Rodon. This morning we heard from Alex Crook from TalkSport that Joe Rodon may be part of the Archie Gray deal to Spurs. Now, according to Graham Smith from the Yorkshire Evening Post, Joe Rodon will return to Leeds United on a permanent basis in a separate deal valued at £10 million. As we've seen from transfers in the Premier League over the last couple of weeks, we are expecting Leeds to receive a slightly inflated fee for Archie Gray and then a separate fee for Joe Rodon, from all done with financial PSR in mind, I suppose. So Leeds are expected to receive £40 million for Archie Gray and pay a separate deal of £10 million for the return of Joe Rodon, which is slightly cheaper than the £15 million to Ipswich that was being touted this morning. It now looks like Joe Rodon is destined to return to Leeds United on a permanent basis next season, while Archie Gray heads to Tottenham Hotspur, and an additional 30 million balance heads back towards Leeds, which you will hope will now be reinvested into new players as we're into the 1st of July. Also, what's come out over the course of today is the new training wear for next season has been released. A grey, blue and yellow ensemble with a black alternative. I'm a big fan of the black. I'm not a fan of the grey, blue and yellow. There's a lot going on there for me, but I do like the black one that they have out there as well. The black and grey looks quite nice. So Leeds going for a grey training kit on a day when Archie Gray leaves Leeds United. Folks, that'll be it for me this morning. If anything dramatic happens over the course of the day, it's likely it's going to be a mad day. I think I might come back with a live stream tonight, but we'll wait and see. If outside of that, I'll be back tomorrow morning for more Leeds news. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.